Welcome, everybody, to the Mental Health Hour, our weekly mental health podcast broadcast live here on Twitch every Wednesdays. And then, of course, all the replays can be caught on YouTube and most recently Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcast, basically anywhere you can get podcasts.
All of the places.
Yeah. I am, as you can tell, upstairs tonight, which means the wife is here with the baby, so I can think tonight.
Oh, we swapped. You're upstairs and I'm downstairs, whereas you're usually downstairs and I'm usually upstairs.
Well, that's the funny thing. So we don't have a baby screaming tonight, but we may have a hamster.
Yeah, hamster. I ain't got Thomas either, so it's hamsters.
And there you have it. There's always something going on in
Oh,
the mental health hour, but that's good. That keeps us honest. That keeps our streams real.
yeah.
I was thinking about it and talking with my wife about it the other day. I was like, when we were starting out on haps and everything, I was super paranoid, or I can't think of the right word. Not paranoid, but I was a stickler. I wanted it to be perfect because I was new to live streaming. Plus, I knew I wanted to run replays on other channels, and I'm not much in editing. Well, since we switched to Twitch, I have to edit to go to YouTube. I have to. The download comes off as raw as it is right now, so we try and doctor it up a little bit to make it YouTube worthy. And now I just don't care. Not that I don't care, but we can make some mistakes. We can have some noise. We can always edit all that out now. But anywho, it's all part of the growth, which we are growing, continuing to grow every day. Discord's looking great. Love seeing everybody. I've been able to get back into the Discord a little bit more here recently. Work is doesn't have as much of my attention right now. The overtime is on a downslide right now. So hopefully I'm not going to be exhausted every time we're streaming, and I can get some thoughts together again. But anyway, go ahead, Gemma. I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say a massive thanks to Naomi and Tracy and Eric, who's been in the Discord actively looking out for people and just keeping it going.
Absolutely. Yes, I have noticed that. It's good to see you guys stepping up, and it's more than just me and Gemma. We put the show on, but we're a community, so and it's good to see you guys stepping up. But it's good to see everybody in here. I'd like to run through just a real quick couple of hellos to who I'm seeing. We got Jim just resubbed for 10 months in a row. Awesome. And so did A Ray of Sunshine for 11. Demi's cheering bits already. Demi, how are you? And that was 12 hours ago. Ellie gave me a shout out.
All right, PJ.
But yes, and MJM, Eric, Hattie, Ray, Tracy, we see y'all. And if I missed anybody, I apologize. I'll see you as we get into the content and the questions start coming, or just the conversation. But thank you, as always, to everybody who feels this is good enough content that you want to subscribe to it. Thank you, guys. It does go a long way to help keep the StreamYard going, and all the there are minor expenses with live streaming. Most of you do know that, and so that's good. Plus, I can use some of it to give back to you guys too. So it's all about support, and those subscriptions and stuff are great, and so are the bits. So thank you as always for the bits and the subs. But more importantly, thank you to anybody who takes the time to share out the live. Jim, I saw you posted some mental health hour stuff for us the other day or yesterday. We appreciate it, man. That goes a long way as far as us getting out there more and stuff. I love seeing the shares out there, and I try and share you guys out too, just the same. But anyway, I guess we should probably get into some self-medicating, huh?
Well,
It's,
talking about it.
yeah. So this one, I figured we'd give Gemma a break. It feels
Yeah.
like she's had quite a few shares lately with some of the topics that have been coming up, but that's just the way it rolls. We get the viewer requests, we get streams we want to do, and we kind of line them all up as you see from the upcoming streams that we put out. It's all lined up through November what we're going to do. So we generally don't stray too far from that. And if it winds up that Gemma's got 2 shares in a row, well, she handled it great, and we appreciate her sharing her story as always. But tonight, I think I'm pretty well versed in self-medicating. It is, I would venture to guess, about 90% of me and my mental health issues. I didn't know the sense of the word self-medicating. I never really heard it or contemplated it or what have you until all this started coming together with me realizing I had a problem and going and getting help. And as soon as I started hearing about self-medication or self-medicating, like a light bulb went off and it was all starting to click. I know in talking with a few of you guys in chat, you've had some light bulb moments. It was just like that for me. Like, wow. Is it? I mean, yes, I'm not taking away that I'm an alcoholic and I have a pretty bad alcohol problem. Well, let's not even stop at alcohol. I am an addict. I have an addiction problem, but it all seemingly stems from me self-medicating myself to get my brain in a functionable state. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get into it, because that's my whole thing. That's my whole problem. My chemical makeup is not like my wife's. I talk with her all the time about it, but she has questions still today about what it's like and trying to understand, which is awesome. That she wants to be active in my recovery, and I love that just as much. But Gemma, before I just take off, what do you have for anything opening up with self-medicating? What do you know?
Yeah, I've kind of been there with things, obviously not alcohol and things like that, but it doesn't have to be just that. Certainly not as knowledgeable in this as yourself, but I also have friends that have done it and been around them a lot, and it really can affect the person that's doing it, the people around them, and so much more. So yeah, it's a hard one. It's particularly hard to sit by and watch somebody that you love and care about doing that when they can't accept that that's what they're doing, because you can't go and tell them there's something wrong, because at that stage they won't accept it and they think they're just being got at. So it's literally devastating watching them, and until they're willing to accept there's a problem, then yeah.
Absolutely. So whenever an episode comes up that we do, that I know I have a great dealing in, my brain starts going 1,000 miles a minute, and I start writing everything down. I do have some notes and what have you, just because I get scatterbrained on. I want to say so much, but we only have an hour, and I want to put it on paper so I can see. I can try and at least hit the high points. Um, but again, it's good to see everybody coming in. I did see Jim's comment. We have a hype train. We uh, we don't see that in the StreamYard, but I have Twitch open now too. Level 2 hype train. That's pretty freaking cool. Cool to see. We appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. It's awesome support, and it means a lot to us. And that being said, let's get into some of the knit and grit from my life. I'll just start with what I was just touching on, and then we'll roll into some slides, and then I'll try and play off of that, because when I picked the slides tonight, I picked some that kind of felt right for me, like it would help kind of with my notes, like. But dealing with my husband self-medicating with alcohol now, it's been frustrating, sad, and feel helpless because there's nothing I can do. That's 100% accurate. I know I've talked with you, Hattie, in the past. And I mean, one thing, when anybody approaches me about a loved one or anybody they think has an alcohol problem, hell, we've had write-ins on the live Q&As about it that I've answered. There's ways that you can approach an addict or an alcoholic, whatever the case may be. It's a delicate process, sure, but the other side of the coin is it's all going to a brick wall if they don't want the help. If they haven't reached the point where everybody else sure sees it. I lived that life. Everybody else knew I had a problem. I was just so deep into denial or thinking that I could control it. I mean, at a point I knew that I was in trouble and that I had an issue, but I still wouldn't say that I was out of control, But anyway, I touched on my brain chemistry, and just a little quick look at that, because it is 100% accurate. If you get on the YouTube, not our channel, but and I'll probably put a couple videos in our Discord, but several of them talk about people that experience this. They'll all come out and say, I self-medicate to get that fuzz out of my brain, to make, I always say, to make my brain a functional brain, to make mine feel functional. I walk around feeling kind of foggy, for lack of better terms. It's not really 100% right, but I'm just trying to put it out to the masses so everybody can kind of understand. I feel like I'm at a low. Like I'm not. I need something like to stimulate or to regulate or whatever the word may be I'm searching for there, but to bring my brain out of that fuzziness and to make it more clear and to make it more functional, like I would imagine everybody else's is on a baseline status. Does that make sense, Gemma? Am I tracking? But so alcohol was my go-to. Alcohol was the best thing that I found that could level me out. That's a good way of putting it. Level me out. Bring me out of that fog and bring me into the world with everybody else, and feel normal. And I would maintain that buzz all day. I was never a blackout drunk. I didn't drink to get hammered. I drank to function. And I was very particular, I guess, about it. I had it. Addiction is all numbers. Anybody that's an addict will tell you it's all numbers. You
Mm,
know exactly where to get yourself, how long you can stay there before you have to feed it again, or this, that, and the other. How much stuff you need to have at all times. I'm going to his house, and we'll probably be there for 2 hours, so I better have 2 beers now. And
mm,
it's all numbers all the time. And so that's every day. I need to be at this level, and this is how I'm going to do it today. And we're doing something completely different tomorrow, so I got to map it out tomorrow. But we'll deal with that when we get there. And yeah, it's an everyday process. But self-medicating is far from what you should be doing. Um, we'll go ahead and get into some of the slides now, so we can try and bring it. The slides help to put it on a level that I can't always do. That's why we run some of these. But we'll
mm.
start basic here, Gemma. If you got them pulled up there, I'll let you
Yeah.
have at it.
Okay, so people self-medicate to heal mental illnesses like depression, trauma or loss, chronic pain, social anxiety, and sleep disorders.
So these five here are like the Holy Trinity, or Trinity. That's three. The Holy Quintuplet um, for uh, everything can stem back to one of these. You may self-medicate because you're going through the process of transgender, and you can't get the right meds or what have you, so you self-medicate and find something that works for you. But that, even like transgender, can come back to social anxiety. It can come back to your mental state. It can depress you, these types of things. You can lose sleep over it. um, you know Insert mental trauma, or not trauma, but insert your current status. You can
Mm,
probably link it back to one of these. That's why that I picked this slide. It's like the base, what everything comes back to, essentially.
mm.
And moving on.
Okay, so frequency of self-medicating. This is a percentage of who self-medicate at least once a day. 38% men and 45.1% women. And then so it just shows the darker blue at least daily, then slightly lighter at least once a week, and then at least every few weeks, and then at most every few months. And then there is things like antidepressants, marijuana, CBD products, amphetamines, opioids, alcohol, methamphetamine, benzodiazepine, pain medication, cocaine, and ecstasy. And you can see the top one being like antidepressants. It goes down in kind of like an order of the ones that are most taken daily to the others where it's just a few every month.
Yeah. And these are obviously drug classifications, like
Mm,
benzodiazepine. That's your clonazepam or Klonopin. Your benzos for short. Methamphetamines. Um, Adderall would fall under amphetamines, but people self-medicate with Adderall. Um, so people drink Robitussin, or people drink hand sanitizer. These
mm,
all fall back into one of those, And so I'm not sure exactly what number. I don't remember off the top of my head what number they used to poll here, but these were the answers from their group. And like Hattie said, we'll post these in the Discord so you can get a better look at it. I'm looking at it right now. It looks kind of fuzzy.
mm.
We'll get that cleaned up and post it in the Discord for you.
Okay. Now this one. So Of respondents who saw a physician, 85% were prescribed medication, but still felt they needed to self-medicate, and 15% of respondents chose not to take the prescribed medication. And then of the respondents who did not see a physician, 35% reported they didn't go to a doctor because they didn't want to feel judged. And then there's the top 5 reasons for not accepting prescribed medication. So if you feared long-term effects of taking the medication, that was 50%. I don't trust the ingredients in conventional medicine, 26.5%. I disagreed with the types of drugs my physician suggested, 22.4%. The prescribed medication worsened my symptoms, 19.4%. And I couldn't afford to fill the prescription, again, 19.4%. And then these are from people that didn't see a physician. Believed I can manage my condition without a physician's help, 40.4%. I can't afford medical treatment, 41.2%. I'm scared of finding out what's wrong, 23.1%. I don't have time to go see a physician, 21.4%. And I don't think my issue is important enough to seek medical attention, 20.1%. That's really sad, the amount of people that can't get the help because of money. Anyway, it says, a note, self-medicating is defined as drinking alcohol or taking drugs or medication without a prescription to relieve a physical or mental health issue. And it says the survey was of 1,020 respondents who had self-medicated health issues. 641 had been offered a prescription by medication by a physician, 98 of whom chose not to accept their prescription, and 359 hadn't seen a physician for health issues they self-medicated for.
Yes. A lot of information there. But the middle of that slide is the bulk of the good, what I wanted to get across there, because there's a couple of points in there that I really relate to. I was seeing a physician prior to me even, even when I was still drinking. I go to regular doctor visits. I had brought up depression and anxiety. I always kind of danced around how much alcohol I actually was consuming. But I did bring up to a doctor about depression, anxiety. I never brought up the fuzz feeling that I was talking about because I didn't understand that yet. I didn't know about that yet. I didn't learn about that until rehab and this whole recovery process and through the show and everything. But I believed I could manage my condition. I believed I had everything under control. Um, it wasn't anything about not trusting ingredients or any of those, but there's a few on there that a lot of people, as Gemma touched on, saying it was sad about the money. That is a big thing from a lot of people. A lot of people don't have proper health insurance or coverage for things they got to pay out of pocket. Jim here in the chat, he talks about it on Catalyst and his streams, how medical cannabis helps his daughter, but that's not covered yet under insurance because it's still a CDS or whatever. They haven't passed the legislation, which is what Jim's getting done. He's with Ashley's Law was to help get that into the hands of people that could help her when she wasn't around them. But he has to pay out of pocket for that. The family has to pay out of pocket for that. That's something I think we'll see come down the pike. As I've mentioned in shows past, we're really seeing an upturn on the focus for mental health in the insurance world.
Mm.
So while there hasn't been a whole lot of coverage for mental health as a whole, not just um, certain parts of it. I mean, the whole spectrum. A lot of it wasn't covered. Uh, Therapy visits, just to name one. Um, Unless you were referred by a doctor, blah blah blah. Um, excuse me. But we are seeing a great upturn in mental health coverage. Uh, it's slowly coming, slowly but surely. So
Mm.
it's coming down the pike, and hopefully um, things start turning around a little bit there. So we'll go ahead and move on so we don't lose too much time.
Okay, so this is Know Your Pill, benefits of self-medication, um, increased access to medication, immediate relief for the patient, role of patient in his own health, and better use of pharmacist skills, reasons for doing it, lack of immediate access to doctors, high consultancy fee, and a fear of being put through unnecessary tests, lack of time, dependence on the internet, laziness, wrongly educated, and traffic congestion. And then solutions, education or awareness to people, awareness to children on safe use of medications, strict rules for pharmaceuticals for not giving drugs other than over-the-counter products. Doctors should check that the drugs once prescribed are not taken repeatedly by patients. Pharmacies should not give medicines based on old prescriptions and prohibit availability of dangerous medications over e-commerce portals. And then it says, here are some risks. So incorrect self-diagnosis, delay in seeking medical advice, severe adverse reactions, dangerous drug interactions, incorrect manner of administration, incorrect dosage, incorrect choice of therapy, masking of severe disease, allergic reactions to some medicines, an addiction to some drugs, and substance abuse.
Absolutely. And that's one of the main reasons I pulled this slide there on the right. Here's some risks. That was coming up a lot on the research that I did prior to the show to try and find some decent information in a manner that is pretty general.
Mhm.
And that right there came up more often. That list of the risks, substance abuse, that should be at the top. If you ask me, that should be all the way at the top. Um, but incorrect self-diagnosis is just as important to talk about.
Mhm.
When you don't have the money or whatever the case may be to go to the doctor, you're still going to try and figure things out somehow, right? And we don't have the medical training they do, 8 years of medical school and what have you.
Uh-huh.
And the other thing with that, the incorrect dosage. Is anybody here a pharmacologist or a pharmacist? Um, I know basic stuff riding an ambulance, but I mean, I take 4 Tylenol when I have a headache. The
Mm.
bottle says 2, so they're incorrect
Yeah.
dosage. But that works for my head.
Yeah.
That makes the pain go away. 2 doesn't cut it for me.
And then that's the thing, when you take more of them, the dose that you're meant to take is no longer effective. So you need more and more and more and more to get it to work, to the point where you're taking way too much. And that's definitely been the case for me with some of my medications. Like, the dose that I'm prescribed just doesn't cut it anymore.
No, it just and everybody's body is different. We're all different. We're all
Mhm.
unique.
Yeah.
So what works for me might kill who's sitting next to me. We don't know. But the education and awareness is what needs to be focused on. Um, and the So the big ones there, obviously for me, addiction, substance abuse, incorrect dosage, and masking. Uh, Masking of severe disease. Mine was severe depression, and
Mhm.
I just they put on. That's one of the um, topics I was thinking about was how what I don't want to get this wrong is that it's a short term solution to a long term problem,
Yeah.
and that says it all.
Mhm.
Um, each day that goes by, we think we have it under control because we're self medicating and we're thinking a little clearer, or at least we think we perceive that we are. Um, and Tomorrow's going to be better. And I'm not going to drink tomorrow because I don't want to, and I'm thinking clearly now, and I can say that. And then you wake back up the next day in that fog, and you're like, well, that didn't work. So
Yeah.
it's just the definition of insanity. You're just short-term solution to that long-term problem. You're fixing it today, and you're
Mm.
not getting to the root of it to fix it for life.
Yeah.
So one more to go, guys, and I hope some of this info is helping. This one is just real quick. It is I'll take this one there, Gemma. Uh,
Okay.
how to stop self-medicating. I always try and throw something at the end of the slides with a solution. We talk about a little bit. Usually we start out with some background knowledge, then we get into some um, of the nitty gritty and the side effects and what have you. And then I want to end with what do we do about it? Um, and this is six uh, very basic. I'm sure everybody's heard them before. Find a support network, stay active, exercise, as we always hear in mental health or anything really. You go to the doctor, he's going to tell you to exercise. Um, Sign up for rehab, join a support group, and schedule medical appointments. Stay on top of your doctor visits. Stay healthy. That's how you stay healthy. That's how you stay on top of your medication for your mental health, your prescribed medication, not your over the counter stuff.
Mhm.
Alternative coping mechanisms was the last one I missed there. Nail Driver, good to see you. Um, and I saw Joker came in too. Steve, good to see you. And Brenda's here. Good, good. Glad to see everybody in here this evening.
Yeah.
We're talking self-medication, self-medicating yourself, um, self-medicating yourself. Uh, it's something that I did for probably 15 years before I even knew what what it was. I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know what self-medicating was. Um, I'm gonna take this down because that's pretty straightforward. However, there are other things. Those are again the basic, um, the core six, if you will, of recovery. You have to understand, as I was alluding to, and I've said several times on this show, I wasn't able to take any steps forward in a manner of recovery until I first understood what the hell was going on inside of me. Um, and you find that out through rehabilitation programs, rehab, um, and where you and therapy, where you sit and talk to somebody, um, and you learn about what the hell's going on inside of you. You schedule those medical appointments. Um, your general practitioner, doctor, general care physician, your normal doctor that you see, your
Mhm.
jack of all trades, the one that tells you what's wrong with every part of your body.
Yeah.
It's not great. I mean, that's great, but that's not good enough for something like this. We need psychologists, psychiatrists.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
we
'Cause
need
they do
somebody,
miss things, definitely.
yeah, and that falls for anything mental health, eating disorders, substance abuse, you
Mhm.
name it. Uh, Body dysmorphia. We've covered a lot on this show, and it all can come back to Oh, and I wanted to mention that I'll pull it up one last time. It says how to stop self-medicating with alcohol. I didn't like that. Um, take alcohol away from that because this is how to stop self-medicating from anything. Um, and people come up with some wild shit how they self-medicate. They find some wild shit out there. They're eating Tide Pods and what have you. But if you're in any kind of active addiction, that right there is your core 6 for how to get started. And then it's a day, every day counts. And to this day, I'm 2 years in and some change. It's still an everyday thing that I have to stay on top of. It doesn't get easier after 2 years. I could slip up at any time. I'm not going to because I keep working an active program. It's not good enough to go, as they call it, the 90 and 90 in AA. When you start in an AA program, and when you're fresh out of rehab, and you go into AA to continue recovery. But even if you don't go to rehab, you go to AA. You get yourself a sponsor. There's your support network. That's the start of your support network. They make you get a sponsor, and you talk to this guy every day or gal. And they get you squared away on how to get started in the program. And they normally like to see you go to what's called the 90 and 90. 90 meetings in 90 days. Don't miss it. Show the commitment. Show that you want to be here. And then once you get through that, I mean, it's not just like, hey, I'm just going to go to one a week now or something. No, I mean, I'm at a point now where I feel comfortable. If I miss a day, we're not gonna. I don't want to say that. I don't want to jinx anything. I say that now, and then you'll find me in a gutter tomorrow. But no, you won't. But I just wanted to point that out. Like it does. I said it doesn't get easier. It does feel better the further you get into recovery. It feels better every day that goes by. But I still know it's a very real part of my life, and it's a very real and scary. The one guy said, I'll never forget his analogy was that your addiction is not gone. It's just sitting out in the parking lot doing push-ups, waiting for you to screw up. And it's waiting for you. And it's going to be stronger than ever. Yeah. Gemma, anything from the slides that you want to touch on?
Just have a look. There was something that I thought of with one of them. Oh yeah, back to the one with the the reasons.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was just saying, yeah, I remember that nail driver.
It was just for the reasons, the 5 reasons for not accepting medication or not taking them. And like I've been there myself. Some of mine was just due to being sick of taking medication day in, day out. I just found it monotonous, just taking more and more and more. And then there was side effects of medications, so they had to give me other medications to counteract the side effects of the medications they'd given me in the first place. And it was ridiculous. And then some of them have become extremely addictive. And then you have other problems because of that as well. So there's so many reasons that people would choose not to take medications. And that's why it's a good idea that if you're going to be taking anything long term, you do the research into what it is, what it's for, and see maybe a specialist in that field for what it is that you're taking this medication for. Because it can become very addictive, and it can also counteract with other medications or cause other problems where you need other medications. I wish I'd have known back then when I started taking what I'm taking, what I do now, because there's no way I'd have accepted it now. but the damage is done. So
Right.
just got to work with it. But yeah, but it does upset me that there's so many people out there that don't get the help they need because of money. And then over here, while we have the NHS, the waiting lists just to see a doctor, just a GP. Like I rang up last week and I was told, we don't have anything for 4 weeks, but we can't book anything after 4 weeks because the diary doesn't go that far. So you're just going to have to keep ringing. And it's just, nope, nothing, nope, nothing, nope, nothing.
Right.
And it's crazy. Like some of the surgeries and things that I've been waiting for, it's been years. And it's just so many different problems, like either money or waiting times and things. And then the COVID didn't help with everything. So it's just a mess. So just definitely make sure you go and get.
COVID-19 has its own category for self-medicating. If you look up anything on the internet about self-medicating, it has its own. I mean, that was such a, we didn't know what the hell was going on with that. Nobody's ever been through a pandemic like that, where we were all locked down and everything. That set a lot of people that were already on a good path of recovery back 5 years, easily. But I mean, these are the things life throws, and it is, as you said, sad to see. Finances. Also, I wanted to point out while Gemma was speaking, I was reading some of the chat, seeing some good stuff. To mention, I wanted to. Nail Driver, I think, said sugar is my drug of choice. I feel that's a perfect opportunity to take that. We do. The word is self-medicating, right? So usually most people think medication, right?
Yeah.
Prescription meds, over-the-counter meds, whatever. But it's not like it's that you can self-medicate. What does a bulimic do to self-medicate? Stick your finger down her throat.
Oh yeah.
That's an addiction, right?
Mine, when I was having eating disorders, oddly, was laxatives because I got to the stage where I couldn't make myself sick, so I became addicted to laxatives.
Yeah. And he mentioned, Nail Driver mentioned sugar. Reminds me of somebody that was talking about self-medicating with coffee, self-medicating their ADHD with coffee, which makes perfect sense because coffee is what? A stimulant. Releases that dopamine that the ADHD brain so desperately needs. And then I saw Michael Joseph Murray right here. The good general practitioner will know what specialists. Absolutely. I'm not shitting on them at all. They're great. I love my doctor, and he's helped me a lot through this process. I'm just stressing the fact that, as Michael's pointing out here, use them to your advantage. They do know some good referrals and what have you. But they're a jack of all trades, if you will, and you need fine, focused treatment on right here.
Yeah.
And so there are doctors that just strictly do right here, and that's what we need.
Yeah, the doctors cover all the parts of the body, whereas sometimes you need someone that goes that bit deeper and has studied just one part of the body so that they have more, like a more extensive knowledge of that part.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just wanted to say I'm not shitting on the general care doctors. They are the best. I wouldn't. I owe some of where I am today to my doctor, my regular doctor. He got me hooked up with some good referrals, and I'm forever grateful for that. And he's somebody that I can initiate conversation with because I've known him forever. I feel comfortable talking to him. It's not like I walked into somebody I don't know, the psychiatrist, doctor, whoever. I don't know you. And now I'm about to unleash some of my deepest, darkest feelings and secrets. Um,
Mm.
so the general care doctor there can be a confidant almost to get started. Lupus pills were hard to get. Absolutely, the financial or um, not the financial strain, but medication shortages. That was another. Was that a COVID thing? We were running short on. Well, that could be anything, though. Really, doctors get very little training in nutrition. It's kind of scary. Um, I'm not sure on that. I'll take your word for it. Um, I had plenty of GI doctors since I had pancreatitis, or I got pancreatitis from the drinking. Um, I had a lot of GI doctors rooting around in there, um, and I skated by the skin of my teeth from having to get pretty major surgery to repair.
Mhm.
I was super close. They spent a night thinking about it. That's how close it was. Um, but um, really engaging chat. I love feeding off of that. It helps me to keep my thoughts straight. And so, what do? I don't drink anymore, right? But I still have this problem where I wake up in a fog. That doesn't go away, right? Um, so we go back to that slide about finding alternative coping mechanisms. Um, I can't drink alcohol anymore. That doesn't mean there isn't a thousand things out there that also release uh, the chemicals that I need, like the dopamine we were just talking about for the ADHD brain. Whatever it was that was balancing me out. Um, and I'm not even going to pretend that I know anything about the brain. I know from talking about all this mental health all the time. I feel like I've got a great grasp on that, but I probably only know what 10% of what it actually is. There's just so much going on in the brain. I, I don't know that we'll ever figure it out, but that's neither here nor there. We are an amazing, a human being is a pretty amazing thing in how it works and operates. Um, I learned while we were getting pregnant with Penelope uh, just how many things have to go right. It's like 1,000 things a thousand stars have to align for a pregnancy to occur.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not just having sex, it's at the right time. It's literally cells dividing, all this stuff. Everything has to hit at the same time, perfect for the pregnancy to occur. That's staggering. That's mind blowing to me. You know, just all the stuff that happens that we're so unaware of, um, and how our bodies work. Never see. I mean, if when I retire from the fire service, I probably won't do anything human body related anymore. But I have taken a massive interest in reading about things like this, and it's just it's exciting. Uh, it's an alternative coping mechanism. Anything that releases excitement or makes me feel good. That's what it all boils down to. That's what I get addicted to. When I
Mm.
came home from rehab, I was doing jigsaw puzzles for, uh, I would probably say about 7 hours, 8 hours out of the day, because I was still off medical. I had the whole day. I'm not sitting at a bar all day anymore. So now I'm at home. I don't have anything. I'm not at rehab anymore where it was structured in a bubble. Here I am in my house again for the first time. And I fixated on these jigsaw puzzles because I could sit there. I knew I wasn't in trouble. I could just do, and I actually enjoyed it. But I feel like, and my wife kind of laughed at it. Are you addicted to that now? Well, maybe, but at least it's not killing me, you know.
Mm.
So I guess in hindsight, we can get attached or get addicted to good things. Um, but as we always say, or as we've always heard from the time we were little growing up, everything in moderation, right? Even the good. So, Jeremy Stoltz, good to see you. We're getting ready to do some community calendar, but I do suggest checking this replay out if you want to catch a good episode. I think this one came together pretty well, and the chat was a buzz. The slides, it came together as I kind of envisioned. I hope that in my week of sharing this time, we gave Gemma the week off. I hope I was able to explain it in a way from myself and then from general information on slides that what it is to self-medicate. Because as I said, we have to understand ourselves first. And I didn't know the first thing about that. I didn't know what was going on inside me, And I'm sure you probably felt the same way, Gemma, with like the eating disorder or whatever. You learn some things though, and things start to click.
Definitely. And I never saw it as being classed as self-medicating with the stuff that I was doing, but it is. It's funny how things can get a hold of you.
Absolutely. All right, community calendar time, guys. As always, Jim in Chicagoland, my go-to first guy, because I'll be there tonight. Catalyst, right here on the Twitch at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and he'll be. It's a broadcast. It's very unique. I love the idea, and everybody comes together. We chat. We watch the candle burn. Here we go, and Jim's throwing it up there too as well. He's saying we can go ahead and continue this discussion. That's awesome. Yes, and I'll be there. Catalyst. That's 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight on Twitch. His link is down there in the chat. Ray, he's here with us tonight, one of our moderators. We thank him for the work he does. He's the newest moderator for the show. We don't want 1,000 moderators, but we did feel the need to add one more as we're starting to grow more. And I wanted to take some of the burden off of Gemma's shoulders so she could focus on hosting the show and not so much buried in the chat. Especially with Penelope just deciding to, burst into flames at random moments. But Ray just kicked off season 3 last night. I was there, caught the back half of it, and just as good as ever, Ray. Awesome stories, awesome videos, and the quotes at the end are probably my favorite part. So great job. Good to see Ray hitting a 3rd season, starting it off, knocking it out of the park. We got our good friends Beardo and Weirdo. We got to throw them in there. They are back 10 p.m., sometimes 9:30, but mostly 10 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays here on Twitch. Gemma herself, she does her own live streaming, and we don't really talk about that much. So I thought we might want to start that because a lot of what Gemma does is mental health related. It's not the mental health hour, but baking, arts, crafts, ASMR, that kind of stuff.
I do it for my mental health as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then you know her, you love her, Ella the Bunny Mom. Our longest, I don't know if it was Catalyst or Ella, but definitely our longest promo. She's been one of our longest supporters, though. And I love throwing anything her way that we can. MyBunnyValentine.com, www.mybunnyvalentine.com. Use my promo code. There's a couple of other streamers in chat right now that have promo codes as well. FireDude15 is mine to save 15% on your purchases from her website. All of that goes to her mission to save all the rabbits in the world
Hmm.
from certain doom. No, she has a really great cause there, and it's something that she is very passionate about, and I'm sure it helps her mental health as well. And so we love supporting that. You can catch her also helping her mental health out with her live streams, late night live streams. She plays the ukulele, the guitar now she's graduating to. Hangs out with her bunny rabbit puppy cat. Please, if you haven't found her, give her a follow as well. And then we'll be back again next week, 6 p.m. I forget what we're doing, but it's out there.
It's cost of living next week.
Cost of living next week. Cost of living. That should be fun.
You've got 2 things to stick up at the bottom still.
Everybody is. What's that?
2 stuff to stick at the bottom. I sent you them earlier.
Oh yeah, shit. Thank you. And let's not forget, Halloween is upon us. Let me pull this down. There we go. For those of you that don't know, the Med does a special quiz show. He's the quiz master of Halloween. He does one of his I Want to Quiz You Ups that was that a Periscope fame or I know.
Yeah, he's been doing it a while.
Did I see one on Haps? Was it? Or I know. I think I saw one on.
Yeah.
Did he do? Anyway, I did catch one. It's pretty. It's funny. It's informative. It's fun to play, and it's a good time. He's at twitch.tv/Mr. Med, and then Gemma also has a Halloween kitchen stream coming all over on her channel there. She is obviously right here. You can give her a follow anytime. Gemma, if you want to throw Med's thing in the chat there, that way people can just easily click on it and find his channel as well. But what are you doing there, Gemma, with the Halloween kitchen?
I'm gonna just do some Halloween baking and things. Probably some, maybe if I can make it right, toffee apples and some Halloween cookies. Undecided, maybe a bit of pumpkin carving and stuff. Just
a Halloween kitchen.
Yeah, just a bit of everything. I'm gonna have Thomas with me, so there's no point me doing something elaborate because it just won't happen.
Yeah, and you'll have 15 streaming issues at the beginning. It's all good. All right, guys. Thank you again, as always, for the bits, the subs, the likes, the shares, the comments. The comments were ablaze tonight. I love it. And thank you, as always, for sharing us out. That's how we grow, and we appreciate that the most. We'll catch everybody next week.